Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Mapmaker Monday. Can anyone hear me? Testing, testing, 1 2 3. Mic check. Mic check. Bit of a sore throat today. Played D&D yesterday for about 4 hours, so imagine a bit of talking. Live. Welcome back, one and all, to the weekly edition of Mapmaker Monday, our weekly stream held every Monday, same damn time, same damn channel, where you can watch a map built live in real time and learn tips and tricks from a cartographer master. Just kidding. Not to brag, but I do have over 3,000 hours of map making with Dungeon Alchemist, and as the community manager, I know lots of tips and tricks to guide you through your map making adventures. So, our current theme is a massive ancient cemetery. Been working on this for about a half hour each week for several months now. Started in this corner here with an entryway, little pond, gate, and then it is expanded beyond this. We have some kind of generic medium kind of graves. I'm going to kind of adjust some of these to give some diversity there. And then here we have the chapel cathedral with a 3-story bell tower that I built by hand. Tons of little interesting, fun little nooks and crannies in here, including a secret passage behind the confessional booth, parking outside, and a beautiful walkable garden with fountains, plants, all sorts of things. Hey, Atlam, how you doing? What you been up to? How was your weekend? Continuing, we have the grave plots for, say, these would be, the various priests, priestess, so like the clergy, the paladins, clerics that serve this. Hey, Chim, how are you? Serve this, church here. Is the audio coming through pretty good? Music and voice? Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. I was kind of talking to myself for the last couple minutes, so I wasn't sure, but I just was going with it. So, we also have over here more kind of fancy graves. This is gated here. I kind of see this as like royal graves. And then in this corner, we have the caretaker's cottage. The caretaker is the person who manages this massive property, right? A lot of work to be done trimming these hedges, watering all the the trees and the flowers, and maintaining all the various fountains and helping dig graves, and anyway, lots of work to be done. So our current progress, our project, is this area here, which is basically kind of generic pauper graves, where they're not necessarily, wealthy, and so their graves are typically dug by their family members, or, not, they don't pay a lot for it to be done, so they don't have like a mausoleum or a casket or, you know, anything like that. So it's very simplistic. German, yeah, lots of progress has happened. Lots and lots of progress. So I kind of mapped out this area here for all of these graves, and I'm just going to be filling it with graves and walkways and stuff over the next few streams. But with these, I've been kind of getting creative with headstones. Often putting simple things that, you know, maybe someone had at home or could make. Hey, Moore, how you doing? Welcome back. So here is like, this is a married couple, and the grave, there's like a rope tied between their two gravestones, right? Here we have just like a simple wooden pole, like a stone marker, something with like a candle. Like, I've been using all sorts of different ones to kind of add diversity. We added this little bench and like statue here, little walkway here. I've been trying to figure out what to do with this space. We've got a little fountain. Like, we got to have some amenities to make it seem like it's nice. There's going to be some plants and hedges and stuff, but it'll be much more simplistic, right? Than, say, these. So, how was everyone's weekend? If you got to play some D&D, let's hear about it. I'd love to hear about it. I'm excited to tell you about my session yesterday. So I hope y'all are itching to hear what happened. I got a bit of a sore throat from talking, you know, during D&D last night, but other than that, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, Moore. A lot of work has gone into this, and a lot of work remains, but oh my gosh, it's going to be an epic map when it's done. A map that's 85 by 82, perpendicular to the grid, and most of it done by hand, is nothing to, you know, scoff at. It definitely is quite a marvel. I am very proud of this map. I'm excited at the progress we've made, and I'm excited to share it when it's done. So, yesterday's session started around 2 p.m. Pacific. We met up a little bit earlier to discuss, you know, just a few things, hang out, introduce the new group member, you know, have them chat with the DM because they've only like talked to them over like messages, and just kind of had a quick introductory session there and then jumped into it. The DM was really good to narratively introduce the player in a way that made sense, both in their reason to want to join us and reason to, you know, see us as a friend. I don't know, might do that more, but who knows? Let's take a look at the top down, see how it's coming along. Like, I've definitely passed the halfway mark. Like, we're over 60%, I'd say. But, man, filling in these graves is going to take a long time because there's going to be tons of them packed in like sardines. When we get over here, it's going to be like little terrace areas with mausoleums and raised graves. So it'll be like less graves in particularly. Like, it'll just be more pathways leading to the various terraces, which will be difficult. But otherwise, it'll be pretty straightforward. 25 HP to kill it and it escaped. It must be crucial to the plot then, right? You're going to encounter it later. Must be. That's my thoughts, German. Is it German or Germain? Like the Enya above your name, I don't know how to pronounce it properly. German? I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. So when we last left off, we were in a massive library kind of area fighting a bunch of guards as our quarry Torvos the Chain, a half-orc enforcer that runs these docks and warehouses and all the buildings within, was running away, sending all his men after us. We were fighting a group of like 5 or 6, and we'd already killed a couple last session, so it was like 8 to 10 total guys, a couple goblins, couple of casters. Anyway, we had taken a bunch of them out, and then in this session we jumped right back into combat when we started. But the DM basically narrated that the guy that was running away from us, in his like fury and like basically when he's making mistakes as he's running away, and he's like scared, and I don't know, all these different things, kind of emotions and adrenaline and whatnot. But as he ran away, he bumped into a cage that had a prisoner in it. And the prisoner, we could kind of see the cage fall over, but we didn't really see the prisoner. The prisoner was our new compatriot, a fairy sorcerer. And she was able to escape the cage and fly away from the guys in the room where she was, towards us. So she kind of came through a doorway and could see us fighting the bad guys that were her captors. She was a little scared, and she used a spell to change her appearance to not look like a fairy before we could see her, and so she just kind of looked like a small human librarian. And she watched us fighting and was like seeing we were fighting the bad guys and decided to assist us. And so she started firing at one of the goblins, aiming at us. It was like an archer from behind. And the goblin saw her, started chasing her, and she went ring around the rosies around the bookcases with it for a while. Because she was so small and the goblin was small, they couldn't really see each other unless they were in line of sight. So they were like just running away from each other. It was pretty funny. We kept kind of fighting. We were kind of divided into 2 fighting groups, 3 on one front, 2 on another. We kind of kept that split, but instead of everyone kind of fighting their own targets, we focus fired on one target in each group until they were dead, which really made things smooth. We started off by trying to persuade the guards that we were there only after their boss, not them. So if they dropped their arms, they could keep their jobs and go home to their loved ones tonight. But they weren't for it, even though we did like a really heavy roll. The DM said there's no way to persuade these guards, so we basically went into battle. No worries, no worries. Ask questions. Keep talking to me. Honestly, I should be map making, not talking about my session. Thinking of what to put here, like another grave, or maybe like a simple statue, maybe just a plant, like another hedge, something like this. Not that long one, but you get the idea. A buxus, or whatever they're called. Anyway. So, we see this person firing at the bad guys from the other side, and we're like, telling them to rally to us, and we'll help protect them, because we've actually freed several prisoners in this facility while we've been there. So we just kind of assumed they were another prisoner that kind of somehow escaped in all the commotion. We start, taking out all the guys surgically, take them all out. It was like 5 or 6 mobs, no big deal. And then a few other guards ran in because the guy running away sent them in. We took them out just as quick. And as we were going to leave the room, one of them kind of ran out, and we got him about 5 feet from the door and killed him, so he wasn't able to alert anyone else. Let's see. And in this long library room, there was 2 doors that we could choose from, one above north and one to the west where we chased the goblin. We kind of assumed we could go west, but we thought maybe if we went north, we might be able to take a shortcut and cut off our quarry. Because we had a blueprint of the building, and I was looking at the blueprint in the moment we had, and I'm like, there's 2 doors in this room above us. We might be able to cut them off. So we open the door, and inside are 2 giants that are like working in an alchemy lab. And they seem kind of unbothered by us, but also disturbed. They're like, wait, what are you doing here? But they weren't like ready to fight us. And then our fighter was like, gentlemen, just closes the door. And then our new compatriot was curious too and wanted to see, went over and opened the door too, because she was far away when it was opened. And sees the giants. She has no actions to close the door. and they're kind of like getting suspicious of us and like, what are these people doing here? Because they don't recognize us. And then I walk up because it's my turn, and I don't have like the best charisma, but as a hospitality halfling, I have a D4 bonus on my persuasions, which it's like a free guidance. And I essentially have clutched some serious persuasion scenarios with this. I got actually a crit plus the bonus plus my, basic charisma and PB or whatever, and it ended up being like a 28. And I was like, sorry to intrude. We were looking to talk to Torvos the Chain. We were doing business on the docks and we're supposed to speak with him. Is this the right place? I seem to have gotten lost. And they were like, oh no, he's over here. Sorry for the confusion. I was like, this is a lovely lab you have here. I would love to check it out sometime, but I'm actually quite busy. So I just closed the door and took off. So we avoided a whole fight, and our GM was laughing so hard at this because 3 different interactions happened that almost triggered the fight. Yeah, delete that. That's spammy for sure, Atlam. We're playing 2014, just regular 5e. Um, I honestly, they were just big, giant guys, way bigger than me, and it was a small space full of lots of vials of chemicals, and I thought this would not go well, so I didn't want to fight them. Plus, we were chasing someone. So we decided to, nuke that scenario with persuasion. I walked out of there. We ended up kind of taking a quick short rest, kind of regrouping. Everyone made a plan. Our changeling shape shifted into one of the guards we fought and grabbed one of their weapons, which is like a halberd. And we did like these cool like slip knots on our wrists where we could just pull free. And then he had us in like a big chain of rope. And he walked us through like he captured us, like all cocky and arrogant, like he was the guard that saved the day. Walked us right up to the bad guy. Oh, by the way, he did a deception check, rolled really high, so we were able to walk through like no problem. Walked right up to the guy, started talking to him, tell him he captured us. The dude gave him money, okay? Right? And then he also like congratulated him, and he's like, we need to go have a drink. And he's like, let's go put the prisoners in the cage and then we can go have a drink in your office. So we lured him into an area that we had already pre-cleared, closed the door, and had a kill box where we could box him in. And then we took turns pelting on him until we could do basically a non-lethal attacks and knock him out. And then we had manacles, rope, chains, a bag over his head, gag in his mouth, covered him, and we walked right out the front door past his guards with him. They were in shock. The only aspect of 5e or 2024 that we're probably going to try is bastions, which bastions actually we now have access to because we hit 5th level after this encounter because it was a milestone. And yeah, we got some mad loot from the place, like over 6,000 in gold. We got rewards from our, our benefactor who wanted us to do this job. And we also got the dude to sign over his will, his insurance, and the lease for the place, the deed, into our names because we did a Zone of Truth charm combination and then did a really good deception check on him and took over all his stuff. So basically, we own the whole property. We own his insurance if he dies. We have his will. We have like a bunch of documents. We took all the money. Anyway, it was quite cool. Session went quite smooth. The new member of our group, we introduced her to our benefactor and, told her how we rescued her from the slavers and they were trying to take her wings and blah, blah, blah. And our benefactor was like, yeah, you could come work for us if you want. You're welcome to stay here. And she's like, yes, please. So now we got a new group member. Worked out. It's all part of the plan. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of action. A lot of intrigue. The fact that we were able to just deceive all of his underlings and walk right up to him, talk to him, walk him away to a secluded area, and then capture him. Oh, by the way, we hit him with so many status effects. So our like main frontliners had nets to try and capture him with a net. Both of them failed. The net, he like passed the checks and got out. The fallback was web. I had web ready, locked and loaded, so I webbed him, and our like Sorlock was on the other side, closed the door, and we had him boxed in. He was webbed, he had fear, he was tripped, he like had all these different conditions applied to him. It was so funny. We kept hitting him with every condition possible to make it impossible for him to do anything of use, and just kept pelting him until he was down. It was quite fun. But our benefactor, basically the person paying for the job, was like, if you bring him back alive, I'll give you a bonus. So we got a magic item as a bonus. And I don't have dark vision, so I took Goggles of the Night, which I felt like was a good choice. But whatever. I didn't have like many to pick from because it was like only a certain like value and like quality. Anyway, worked out though. It was quite fun. More graves. Also trying to think of what to do with this space. Obviously more and more graves, but thinking of like just running them along this fence here to start, like at an angle, and then a couple of rows, kind of straighten it out. Because the way it's straight here is going to make my life way easier all the way down this side. So if I can replicate some of that in this nonsense, I guess once it gets to here, it'll be easy. This corner will be the only part that's problematic. Okay, that's fine. I can see ahead and make a decision. So yeah, we got some mad loot. Oh, and our benefactor offered to buy the docks off of us, which quite a bit of money. But oh, now that we've hit level 5, we can get a bastion now too. So quite excited about that. We were considering just turning the docks into our bastion, but our benefactor offering a large sum of gold for them really has got us kind of deciding otherwise. That being said, I think we're going to haggle for more because we know it's worth more. We're going to go kind of do some inventory, get some ideas of what's there, and then try and get a little bit more out of her because I rolled my portents for next session, and they're a 15 and a 16, so I could use that to my advantage big time. Okay, this should give me enough time to work down there, like enough walkway, I guess I should say. But I do feel like I'm slowly leaning to this side, not as centered anymore. Alrighty. Disable the grid and we'll get back to putting graves in. Could have some unmarked graves. Some kind of crumbled graves. Oh yeah, I decided last session I wasn't gonna follow this method. I'm just gonna do graves, and then I'm gonna do all the headstones. So yeah, let's just lay out some graves. I'm gonna like assembly line it. Down. Need a pathway. Chat's so quiet today. It's probably my fault though. So quiet myself. Great. I could do 2 in a row. It's not going to kill me. Oh, Ash, you're hilarious. Nah. It's not, honestly, like, yeah, it's probably that time of year where people are starting to kind of stretch their legs and get out more. But also, you know, people are working on Monday typically. Monday streams, I'm surprised at how busy they get because you would think, you know, people like have other things to do, right? Sardine wall's starting to fill in. Dang, that's looking cool. Long way to go, though. How you doing today, Ash? Sitting for a quick lunch. Nice. Only 9 in the morning. What are you talking about? No, I'm just kidding. I understand time zones. Keep graving. Keep thinking, oh, I need headstones. I'll come back for headstones. I really like this. It's really coming along. Another thing I was thinking for these graves, I could start doing like a path like this, right? And it goes up this way, kind of centers on that. I could even get rid of the fence here and have it go through. Or, yeah, and do like more rows along this, or have a statue or a bench or something else. You decided to buy Dungeon Alchemist? Nice. Congratulations. Welcome to the Dam fam. Really hope you enjoy it. And if you ever need, like, assistance with your map making or your exports or anything like that, feel free to tune into the streams and ask questions. That's what we're here for. Their streams are hosted AMA format, which means ask me anything. So you can drop in and be like, hey, I'm struggling making something, you know, XYZ in Dungeon Alchemist, and I will do my best to provide you help. Piecing together your D&D campaign still? Nice. Oh. Cat fur. So I shaved my head or trimmed my hair over the weekend and my beard and stuff, but now it's like Velcro. It catches all my cat's fur and my dog's fur, like when they'll like love on me. Well, these streams are great for, you know, learning like little basic tips and tricks. I've been using Dungeon Alchemist for like 3,000 plus hours. So I don't really use a lot of the basic tools as much as I do, you know, everything by hand, which is more, you know, advanced building technique. So you end up learning a lot from these streams. Even if you're just sitting watching and not asking any questions, you can learn a lot. So I want some of the sardine graves to feel much smaller and packed in, and others to feel much larger. Maybe they were a little bit more affluent in the community, you know, or they had a little bit more money. That's why some of these are like fenced off, but still in this area. The space is bothering me. Should I just put a tiny grave there? It just seems so awkward and disrespectful. I could put like a fence here. Then it just seems weird. Let's look and see what I can put here. A pet grave? Interesting. Pet grave. That's a fun one. I was thinking of putting some kind of decor. Maybe even a tree or something. Oh. I like that. Little planter once in a while. Just add some greenery to the space because there's lots of death. Statue every once in a while, like a deity or something of importance. A little fountain every once in a while. Some benches. In fact, I was thinking of doing one section here or here somewhere that was like benches. We shall see, we shall see. Yeah, I could almost connect these if I got rid of the fence, but 'tis okay. Maybe put like an arch there in between those. Like it's a big gap. Neither one of them centered on it. Darn it. Don't know what to do there. We'll figure it out. But I do like how these are lining up to a degree. Yeah, some shade trees is a good idea. Like I said, I put a tree here, got one there. I'm going to add a few more here and there. Little corner pieces and stuff will have them. Might even have some at the entry point here. I'm just trying to fill the gaps in these spaces, but I also probably should just keep pumping out graves. Look at all this space I've got to add graves to. So there's a lot of finishing details I will put too, like shrubs and bushes and mushrooms and, you know, little things like that to add a little bit more detail to the environment. Gosh, I really hate when I'm like specking out like space, trying to decide what to do with it too, because it's frustrating. Yeah, some mushrooms of all types would be fun. A bush? Sure. Put a bush. Hmm. Bush on the corner there. I did put a like a bench here, so I want to wait for another bench. To be honest with you, we could do some glowing mushrooms or generic mushrooms, but yeah, the groundskeeper has like a really intricate collection of kind of rare oddity plants from other like realms and regions. Bit of a green thumb, if you will. I was thinking of putting a cat in the greenhouse. Cat. I could put Monty in here taking a nap. Put him up in the planter. There's also this animated cat. You know what? I'm going to put this chunky boy on the bed. He's a house cat. He's not an outdoor cat. This one here. So this is actually modeled, it's kind of a loose interpretation of my cat. His name's Montrazar or Monty. We also just call him Meme. But it's just a chunky loaf version of him that Mrs. Mac whipped up for me. It's actually on the workshop. Anyone can use it if you just type Monty on the workshop. So if you go to the Steam Workshop tab and go to Browse Assets and type Monty or cat even, it'll find him. What? No. What? Where is my cat? Is he not public? Man, maybe I didn't share him. Hold on. Let me fix this. It's very possible he may not be. But I know he's in this list here. Where is he? Weird. Okay, that makes 0 sense. I'm going to save this. Hold on. He's exclusive to me. Oh, he's local. I never made him public. That's why. Okay, here you go. I'm going to set him to public. Do it, Miss Loot. I honestly thought this was public. I don't know why I never made it public, so let's fix that. So, if an item has a lock symbol on it, that means it can't be resized technically. So that little circle with the line through it is the app telling you that that item has a fixed size, Rash. So basically, very small percentage of the items in Dungeon Alchemist have fixed sizes. I'd say less than 1% of all objects in the object menu have this issue. So yes, some wall hanging objects like shields, lanterns, some pits that like sink into the ground that kind of have like a fixed size, staircases, things that kind of like sink into the ground. Well, I was going to say there is a way to kind of work around it within the tools available, and I was about to show you it. But it only works for some of the objects, not all of them. So, originally, many objects in Dungeon Alchemist, you couldn't resize them past almost any size. Like, they were locked. So you would kind of hit a certain limit, and then it would be stuck, right? A while back, a couple years ago, the devs added this toggle here, the collision toggle, right? Which allows you to disable object colliders, allowing you to resize them far beyond objects, way beyond or below their normal constraints. Now, this doesn't work for all objects, but it does work for a lot of them. Also allows you to kind of push them together, merge them, make kind of different versions of objects. Now, using this, okay, with a couple other things that are available in Dungeon Alchemist, you can kind of game the system. So first, I'm going to leave collisions off, okay? I'm going to go into the structural menu, and I'm going to grab myself a freestanding wall, which is a wall, but it can be placed anywhere, it can be rotated, it can be resized. Remember that resize bit. So I'm going to place this wall. In fact, I'm going to just snap it somewhere. I'm going to hold control and make sure it snaps on the grid somewhere. Next, I'm going to grab a shield, as we were discussing, a wall hanging shield. I'm going to snap it onto that wall, right? It's snapped into place. You want to make sure you have collisions on so it snaps into place first, and then you disable collisions and resize this wall. Okay? You've now rescaled this shield far beyond, or even below if you wanted to, what it normally is. Now, this is a one-way ticket to this resize, and it kind of games anything that can be mounted on a wall can be resized this way. So what you do is you grab this object now and you can move it. If you try to resize it again, it will actually not work. It's stuck at this new size. Unfortunately, at the moment, you cannot do that with doors in DA, but you can do it with doors from the workshop. So if you find a door on the Steam Workshop under the asset browser, any door located here can be resized. Kitty cats as well. So the doors over, like doors in a building, right? Like this structure here. Any doors like that, they're fixed onto walls, and walls are fixed onto grids and floors. The room generation tool has some rules behind it. How it works is being affixed to a grid and having certain rules that it understands so it can generate rooms that make sense with windows and walls and doors that make sense. Now, I do think at some point we will unlock the ability to resize doors, put them at any height, windows too, i.e. freestanding windows and doors. Well, there are a few gates already built into DA under the structural menu. If you go to, I don't know why, but they're under masonry. There's a couple of fences here, right? And these can be resized and scaled. They work as like portcullises or city gates. I've seen this one resized and scaled up, and then what they do is they sink about half of it into the ground to make it a more reasonable height. And then just duplicate it. Make another one, throw it in right next to it. Oops, it's trying to snap here, and that's why it's fighting me. Anyway. So we are actively developing Dungeon Alchemist. We have 5 major updates remaining. Our next major update should be launching in the next few, like before the end of June, most likely. So the next couple of months is the kind of window at the moment. Though that is subject to change if we run into, issues or whatever. But yeah, we're very active, both in the community, like answering questions and providing support, and these weekly streams, 3 streams a week. We post regularly on social media. In addition to that, just constant communication and interaction from the devs who are essentially always responding to your feedback and suggestions and ideas. They're, in fact, the biggest implementation in this next update, multi-level and roofing, was something we never really planned on implementing in Dungeon Alchemist because it was intended to be top-down maps, right? Intended for print originally. They added, VTT and a whole bunch of things later on. So roofing and multi-level is being added because there was so much feedback and votes on our upvoting from our community. Lots of people, suggested they wanted this on our roadmap, upvoting suggestion board. So it's taking a while to implement this feature because there's a lot to it, but darn, is it going to be amazing when it's all done. Anyway, I'm going to add some more graves for a bit. I want to try and add like 50 plus graves during the stream today. Oh, it's 3D walkthroughs are incredibly fun. It's always fun to drop a token into a map, right? And then click the icon and then walk around in first person. Sardine collection is expanding, Mondu. How you doing today, buddy? We're moving down the row. It's looking good though, especially in first person. That little hedge is bothering me. I'll check that out in a bit, but getting really good navigable. You're feeling better after a rough week. Sorry you had a rough week, my friend. Isn't that always the breaks? Hello, JB Pro. Welcome to the stream. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is the map making tool I'm using right now. It is a map making and immersion utility for games like D&D or Pathfinder. Pretty much any fantasy tabletop game it works pretty well with. It also leans into some steampunk, early Western, and even like Victorian type stuff. So there's a bunch of different systems that can benefit from this tool as a map maker. Some modern even, yes, Rash. So right now I'm building what is a massive cemetery. Here, let me show you. So this is the cemetery, and I'm over in this little corner here. We're making like pauper graves, kind of just poor graves packed in like sardines. Most of the other graves are more affluent or have private like fencing. I enjoyed your roofing, Chim. Actually, you did a great job with Swedish Cook's roofs. So you tuning in today is called Mapmaker Monday is the name of the stream. We build a map live on stream and answer questions from our community and share information about upcoming updates, provide support. And it's just fun to kind of hang out with other like-minded cartographers and GMs who share interests and enjoy D&D or tabletop gaming. So welcome, welcome. Oh, by the way, Miss Loot, I totally missed that you followed a bit ago. Thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. Hmm. It was the cat, wasn't it? But basically, this map, we work on it just like a little bit each week. And it is slowly but surely evolved into this massive build. It's like 85 by 82 squares now, which by all, intents and purposes is like a big map. Hey, Primal Edge Design, how you doing? Oh, so our devs have like a sense of humor. The devs and artists on our team. So Miss Lude on Twitch asks, I was streaming the other day and showing my group this program. I got to ask, what's with the cauldron with the eyes? So there is the cauldron that is the gallivanting cauldron, right? This one. So our devs have a bit of a sense of humor, and they love adding little whimsical magical items that are silly and also often disturbing. Our most recent update, major update prior to this next update. So our next update is called Fun with Objects, which should be releasing before the end of the quarter. But our past update was Magic. So we released a ton of magic objects and effects and themed decor, biomes, etc. And this was one of them, the Gallivanting Cauldron. Just a silly animated cauldron. I best of both worlds, Ash. I have a cat and a dog. I can't stop winning. These boots are fun if you try to click them. They will run away from you sometimes. It's just a fun little quirk. The boots of getting lost. Only does it so many times. Oh, the chicken legs are great because then you can put them on any house. So a lot of people wanted like a Baba Yaga type hut, right? We added a wandering hut in our magic update as well, but some people wanted to just add legs to any old structure, a ship or whatever. This one's animated though. You can take the rooftops off and decorate it, fill it with stuff. So the point of these chicken legs though, I mean, they're neat. You can resize them and use them on smaller stuff, bigger stuff. But if, let's say, you downloaded a house from the workshop, right, under the asset browser, there's a whole bunch of prefabbed houses that have been shared by our various contributors in our community. Let's download this one. Add a couple of these legs and boom, you got yourself a wandering hut. But But it's just a fun way to kind of quickly add your own little spin to stuff. A lot of the items, though, were items that were suggested by our community. Like many of the items in our menu are just absolutely off the wall silly and suggested by our community because they want them in their campaigns. I encourage you, though, to browse the object menu because you could spend like hours digging through all the different menus and finding stuff you never knew existed. Some of the prefab structures like tents or huts are great. There is like an igloo and a tree house and slowly shifting, and I don't like it. It's true. We got a lot of cool creators and asset makers that share just tons of beautiful stuff on the workshop. Considering making a path this way, but I'm just not digging it. Let's see. Put some more graves. I can kind of pack them in like this, down this way. Oh, let's turn them. Then I can do a walkway, put like 3 graves, 2 graves. Oh, I'm digging it. Mondu, I'm sorry you're having such a rough week, my man. I have a path. Maybe just like a bench here. That. F. Pathway, just hit this. And these out a little bit. So oh no. Sounds like it entails. We'll work the sickness out of you. The terrain not flat? What's going on there? feel like I recapped my session too quick from last night, but honestly, like, it was smooth. We were operating like a well, like, tuned unit. We were kicking ass and taking names. Yeah, or I might have just missed a spot when I was flattening. It happens. Okay. But yeah, Mondu, I've like added from like here all the way down today, so a good amount of build. Not my best work. I really was trying to buckle down today. My plan was to put up like 40 or 50 graves at least, because I'm going to have to make some serious moves if I want to finish this area. Kinda. I've also kind of been dragging my feet because the update's been kind of just taking time. So. Yeah, that's a good idea. Good. Crazy cat lady house? I could do that, Miss Loot. Honestly, cats are awesome. Dogs are awesome too. They're both pretty cool. Just pets in general are just amazing. Hey, Callie, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, man, just grinding away, just laying down bodies. Look at how many graves I've packed in here like sardines in this area. Because this is just like generic graves. Come over here, they're like much more extravagant. Just packed in. Excuse me. Darn. A little too far. I have to shrink them. How you doing, Mosey? Darn it. Really hoping to use these columbariums here, but I can't get the sizing right. Don't like it. Just future objects, Callie. So it adjusts the objects in the object menu to be smaller or larger for future placement. Thank you, Mosey. Appreciate it. How are you doing today? Darn it, I don't like this. I like the outside edge here, but these just seem too fancy. But I do like how much more can be packed in. But yeah, these graves are coming along. We're making some progress. I'm just like starting to see the repetitive nature of it, but that makes sense. That's like how generic graves are. They're really repetitive. Kind of bleak. Might put a tree here instead of a bush. Oh my. Headstones, no mounds. Interesting, interesting. I was kind of dignifying them with space because considering they're packed in like sardines. But I do like that. I think in some of these weird spaces where I'm not sure what to do with them, I'll just pack a ton of gravestones in, like lines, instead of like, the burial mounds. Half Ogre, how you doing, my man? What you been up to today? Or this weekend, I should say. God, I wish I could resize these. They're so big. Over here, I'm really packing them in. Ooh, you know what? These columbariums could work. Like more custom. Size and shape. Interesting. Consider. You think just a coffin sitting above ground would be like too macabre? Sitting like in this? Don't they also put like coins on top of the graves to like signify like significance of like who they were in the unit or something? Well, it's not so much that they're tiny, it's just that their bodies were packed into the space they were given because these are free grave sites. Some of them are a little bit bigger, and I can do bigger ones, but the problem is this is like this is the cannery right here. This is where they're going to be the smallest graves by far in the pauper graves. As I get over here, they'll be bigger. Like I have all these nicer, like more, I don't know, just separated plots where I won't be packing them in like nuts. But yeah, I get it. It is a lot of monotony for sure. I want to look at the top down. Maybe it'll open. Making a visible difference from space. Oh, funny. You got your grandma watching MacGyver? That's too hilarious. Hope she enjoys duct tape and Swiss Army knives. Thank you so much for the likes, TikTok. I'm good, Kowser. How are you? What you up to today? About to sleep? Well, enjoy your rest, my friend. Coming along. It's quite massive though. This is only a small portion of it. I feel like I lost the plot with this map. I've gotten so deep into it. It's massive. 85 by 82. Very cool. All right, let's get back to Graven. Let's get back to... Oh, here I go killing people again. It could be good for a scavenger hunt for sure. Or like if you're hunting down clues of like... I don't know. Some sort of I don't know. I see cemeteries, and like this is not to be morbid in any way. It's just if you had something you wanted to stash, right? For like a long time, a cemetery is kind of an interesting place to do it because they're usually like some of them areas in a cemetery don't get disturbed for years or visited for years. You could stash something there and use it like a safe. Or maybe someone got buried with something. Or maybe there's a necromancer. Any number of things going on in this community that need to be addressed. Appreciate the kind words. Honestly, yeah, a lot of work has gone into this map, but it is... Let's give someone an obelisk. Why not? One really small. We'll give a nicer grave one later. But there, I packed in like 14 graves, like in a little patch. That's an interesting suggestion there. Ooh. Could be an interesting headstone. Okay, I need to add some headstones, so I'm going to do that. Whoa! That's floating. I honestly need to start putting all these gravestones like somewhere to just grab from them one at a time, like a pallet. There's so many different ones I like using. I haven't used this one in a minute, the wood sculpture. Hand's getting like a cramp in it. Oh my goodness. Might do some coffins in the stone circle like that. Just add some diversity to this stuff. Also do some stone sarcophaguses here and there. Like mix it in with the dirt mounds over once in a while. Shrink it down. Though I do think these will be very rare. Like once in a while, you know? Goodness. That cramp is killing me today. Thank you, Artful Darkness, for all the likes. Much appreciated. Which season of MacGyver are you in right now with your grandma? Mondu? Okay. I need another shield sword combo. Put one probably here. Hmm. Whoa, a train? Where'd I get that from? Trying to find interesting things to use as gravestones. Hmm. Hey, Highland Lass, how are you today? Hmm. little quiet in here today, but you know, that happens from time to time. But I'm glad you're here, Highland Lass. Oh. Oh my gosh, right? Half Ogre, they were insane. Sometimes it gets really hard for me to judge a winner. That's why that's why I picked two. Excuse me, I got a hiccup. Oh my. Like a bubble in my chest. Oh, okay, we're good. Ah, what you working on today? Pilot Lass? Ah, excuse me for the yawn there. Yeah, the damn challenge entries were all fantastic. Here, let's look at those winning entries really quick. So, Sailor Yugoth, I mean, really just phenomenal with this underground city, which could work for like a dwarven city, a drow city, any number of things, you know? The verticality in this map, the level of detail, the intricate, like, navigable structure is phenomenal. There's like a coliseum or like a amphitheater, like a big tower with a clock, big waterfall here. Isn't that the same for all of us? Got some work planned, but I'll end up in Baldur's Gate instead. My son, bless his heart, is working on a really hard run in Baldur's Gate at the moment. He's trying to beat Baldur's Gate only using Fireball. That's it. He can't use really any other spells. He can't even use guidance. He basically found a way to get to level 5 without even hurting anyone, without like injuring anyone. which allows him to get XP in other ways, like progressing the story, talking to people. And then once he hits 5, he has Fireball, and then he can start hurting people and leveling up that way. He really likes to challenge himself to do interesting runs, and he loves Baldur's Gate. And the thing is, he hasn't been able to play for a while because mobility issues. Carpal tunnel is very like a big prevalent issue in my family. A lot of people have it. It's hereditary. My mom, my grandma, my uncle, my son has it, and he has it pretty bad. And it makes it hard for him to use like a keyboard and mouse or a controller like for an extended amount of time without it really hurting him or being a detriment to his day, you know? So we looked into alternatives, and I found the Xbox adaptive controller, which is an absolute blessing. Honestly, Microsoft sometimes really does amazing things, and the adaptive controller is one of them. But it allows, people with accessibility and mobility issues to game through, a combination of like custom jig controllers and an interface pad that's larger and easier to use. So, yeah, he essentially has this Microsoft adaptive controller and then like a bunch of buttons and little triggers that we set up. And then we got these special ball joysticks that were made custom by a content creator. And they allow him to use the palm of his hand as the joystick instead of like a thumb. It's crazy. You seem to have good leaning character archetypes there, Highland Lass. You know what's so cool about the box for the adaptive controller? It actually had like a way that was easy to open if you even had limited mobility. It had like a pull tab. You could just like pull, and the whole thing like opened up and unfurled. It was so, like, honestly, it kind of made me cry a little bit because being able to get that for my son and set him up with it and allowing him to game, like have the freedom he wants again. He's been playing Baldur's Gate like non-stop since we got it set up. But yeah, this map, very fully navigable. Like, you can walk through all the streets and the stairs and check it all out. It's called Underground City. It's on the Steam Workshop, and it is one of the 2 winners of the Dam Challenge. Geronimo also just put a phenomenal build out for this, and the lighting and the environment. You know what? I'll have to jump back because I've already opened the other one. We'll look at this map and then we'll dip back and take a look at the top down, okay? So this is Hieronymo's The Forbidden Cistern, which, already sounds interesting right off the bat, but this lovely, like, underground kind of sewer cistern setup where there appears to be graves, which isn't necessarily an interest, or a tombs of some sort, which is kind of a weird mix for a water cistern, but that's what makes it forbidden and gross and interesting and kind of chaotic and potentially like a place where someone evil hangs their hat, you know? The lighting, though, is what really got me on this. No, don't ever think that. You have some amazing entries. I love your maps so much. And you've won plenty of times yourself. Another thing to consider is the next Dam Challenge, Geronimo and Sailor Yugoth can't win because they won this one. So that kind of opens up the playing field for completely different, ideas of map building and whatnot. Anyway, Speaking of which, the next, what is the next dam challenge? I believe the theme was Hideout, right? Hideout? I had to scratch my chin on that one. But the map here seems to have a lot of spaces for combat, navigation, intrigue, exploration. Very cool. Let's head back to Sailor Yugoth's here. But that is the top-down representation. And that's the 3D perspective. If I flattened it, it'd probably be different. Oh yeah, you can see so much more of the map when it's flattened. Pretty much see every bit of it. Oh, you don't sell yourself short. And honestly, you know, even if you only have a couple hours, you know, in 2 weeks or even 5 to 10 hours, that's plenty of time for the damn challenge. Like I see some people submitting maps that are only 4 or 5 hours in one. There was, I think it was Blue Mage's entry a couple weeks ago. They said they like had trouble and they couldn't keep working on it and they weren't going to submit it, but they did it anyway and they didn't think it was finished and they still won. So, oh yeah, it's a beautiful top down. Lots of navigable terrain, lots of battle area. You know what I mean? Sailor Yugoth has really found his niche with these like cityscapes that are kind of forced perspective. Does a great job. Back into the ancient cemetery, shall we? Oh, I know. I'm the same way. Look at this map. I can't even count the amount of hours I put into it. But also, it's been spread over like 5, 6 months. So, it's always good when you can reuse a map, right? Repurpose one or whatever. Yeah, let's count my graves today. I want to see how many I put out today. Because I only got 15 minutes left and I want to finish up what I worked on. So, I started like right here-ish and I started pushing this way. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 plus another 30. There's 6 and then the packed grave. So I actually ended up getting over 40, between 40 and 50. Actually, that's like almost 50 graves. Fantastic. Let me finish putting grave markers on these ones today. And we'll see if we can add any more to all this insanity. That's an interesting concept. You know, I'm not always authorized to do 2 winners per dam challenge. I kind of just do it on occasion. But I could run it by the devs. That being said, I don't necessarily like distinguishing like old timers versus new. There are some new map makers that come in and completely just change the game. Um, and there are, you know, some map makers who've been around a while. They take breaks. They don't always participate. But I do understand what you're getting at, kind of allowing some of the people who are fledgling participants to, you know, get room to shine without, you know, having to compete against those that have quite a bit more hours and skill. I'll talk to the devs. There will need to be some changes done to accommodate this. One of them is the Cartomancer Chronicles will have to be changed to accommodate to 2 winners per session. So I'll talk to the devs. We'll see what happens. Okay. One moment, sorry. Okay. All right. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I was just kind of getting some work-related messages. I wanted to deal with it. Let me add a few more gravestones here, and we'll be pretty good for the day. I actually pumped out a lot of graves today along this line. Having kind of a rhythm helps for sure, and like a workflow. I did mostly just graves and pavers, and then added all like the headstones at the end, which I've found takes a lot of time. Hmm. Stones. We need some stones, right? I've done some stones. One of these. When you have nothing to use as a grave marker, you use whatever you can, right? Like connecting gravestones every once in a while to signify like they were related or married or, you know what I mean, family of some sort. Hey, Dragon Boy, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Hmm. Burn. Then one more headstone up today. Maybe put something on top of it. Hey, better late than never, right, Dragon Boy? Glad you're able to at least hang out with us for a bit. Which program are you working on? Oh, that's a good suggestion, Highland Lass. My headstones have gotten incredibly creative because these are all like just whatever the people have on hand to use, right? But I do think this is coming along. We're getting a lot of graves in here. Oh man. Ah. Can you hear me? Hello? I had to unplug it and plug it back in. Oh my goodness. So my mic, I was watching the feed, and then my mic went brrr, like really quick and then shut off. It's lit up. Everything looks good, so. Okay. That was so random. It didn't like blare on your side, did it? Ooh. Ooh. Upturn rowboat as a grave. Well, as long as the audio didn't spike, then I'm okay. An interesting one. I like it. Probably also leave like an instrument on a grave or something like that. Cooking pot. I was also thinking like a crystal of some sort. Or like a kettle. Okay, so all these graves have headstones, right? Put a different. Do you have any suggestions? Island Lass? I did put like a hat here, like one of the mining hats. I put a few swords and shields out. Guess we could put like a hammer or something on one. An anvil would be such a precious item, though. Like, they weren't easy to make back in the day. I doubt anyone would want to just give one up for a grave marker. Anvils were like a generational item that got passed down through blacksmithing families, if I'm not mistaken. Man, there's anvils out there that like blacksmiths like brag about buying that are like 500 years old or 200 years old. But yeah, I mean, I could see these things, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna need a wheelbarrow over here for sure. Fill it with some dirt. Whoa. Pile o' dirt. I mean, we don't have a wooden anvil. That's the problem. I guess a stump could work. I'll drop a stump here as a potential grave because these are going to be also like vertical graves down this way. I'm going to pack a few in, some rows. Not currently. It would be cool to be able to change the texture of the anvil to something else, but currently it's just metal. That's a good idea though, Dragon Boy. Anyway, it looks like it's time to wrap up for the day. We're past the hour, so I'm going to save twice actually. It's been a minute since I've saved. And then we'll take a look at the top down of the map to see kind of our progress for the day. So this is the, all the completed area of the map we've done. But over here is where we're doing the graves right now. So it looks kind of small, but it's really starting to take shape as we fill in the graves along this edge. And because these are more, pauper graves, the kind of generic run-of-the-mill, don't have a lot of money for funeral services or a casket or a burial, that's what we're looking at here. So these are, we're calling it kind of the sardine can at the moment. So everything's kind of just packed in. It's come along, though, quite a bit of movement in this corner so far. Appreciate all the help, the suggestions, the ideas to, for headstones, for grave mark, for the graves themselves, layout, filler ideas too. Appreciate everyone being here today for Mapmaker Monday. It's always a blast hanging out with y'all. We do host 3 streams per week, though. Every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Saturday. Like clockworks, you can find us same damn time, same damn channel. Wednesday, however, is a little unique. It's actually hosted on our Discord exclusively. Discord cannot be a part of our multi-stream feed. So right now we're streaming to Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Steam, etc. But on Wednesday, we're Discord exclusive. So you can tune into our Discord server, join us for the stream, hang out, get your support inquiries addressed. If you have feedback or suggestions, you can let me know and I'll take notes on them and pass them on to the devs. If you have any feedback on bugs or other information like that that you'd like to share with me, or maybe you just want to hang out and talk about your campaign, your map making ideas, or get feedback and support from like-minded map makers, cartographers. It's really just a fun place to hang out with other GMs, cartographers, learn about Dungeon Alchemist, learn about our development and upcoming releases. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Sorry, I kind of stumbled on my words there. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making utility available on Steam. It allows you to build maps in a snap or gather content to better immerse your players, screenshots, videos, handouts, etc. Dungeon Alchemist also offers a free demo, so you can download it and try before you buy. Give it a little test drive on your computer to see how it runs. That gives you access to the forest biome and one room type, the tavern. So you can build a tavern in a forest, check out some of our objects and tools, see how the Dungeon Alchemist runs on your computer before you invest any time or money into it. Lastly, our Dam Challenge, which is our ongoing map making challenge. The theme for that is Hideout. If you want to participate in the Dam Challenge, make a map of any shape or size using Hideout as inspiration. You then submit that map to our Dam Challenge channel, which is located in our Discord. There are some rules pinned at the top of that channel that you must follow when you submit your entry to be able to qualify. As long as your entry follows those rules and you qualify, you have a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card. You have a chance to have your map featured first on the Dam Challenge stream on the Saturday that we host it. And lastly, your map is featured in our weekly newsletter the Cartomancer Chronicles, which I put out every Monday, so there should be a new one today. Anyway, thank you everyone for participating. Really appreciate everyone that came out today, whether you were actively chatting, whether you were one of our all-star moderators, whether you one of our old-timers that come here and have been here week in, week out for years, whether you're new to our community, maybe you just heard about Dungeon Alchemist or you saw the stream when you were browsing Twitch and just wanted to check us out, or maybe you're trying out the demo today and wanted to learn more or just picked up a copy this week. We appreciate you being part of our community. We're happy to have... One moment.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him!
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the fabled realm of
Goyak-Ta, please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered mapmaker, on Steam today.
Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Back out. Have a wonderful week, everyone. We'll see you on Wednesday for office hours, but if not, see you on Saturday. Thank you for being here. Wonderful.